Morning, Sunday morning, somewhere around 11 o'clock. Give you kind of a quick little update here on the log yard and what's going on. We got a couple of decent orders to fill, but I still need some more places to put things. And my tree guy dropped me off a bunch of kind of undersized logs. What I mean by undersized is like pines that are decent size, but they're less than 8 feet long. So what I'm doing with them is, I'll show you. We're building more infrastructure. So we actually built some big sawhorses for like timber framing joinery, you know, for beams and stuff like that. And we can, obviously we can use the lumber for more bunks. That's kind of my plan today. Oh, here comes Kate. Boss is coming out. You can see this one that I have up on the mill right here is a real bad log. You can see the sweep in it. It's terrible. Not sure how much is in there. I'm just gonna chop it up into, say hi to Kate. Chop it up into some bunks. Whatever I can get out of it. You know, that sweep's really bad. It's going to be pretty challenging to roll. I might try to kick it down a little bit. It was hard to kind of see underneath it when I threw it up there by myself a little while ago. So it's only on, you know, one log stop. It's going to be a little bit challenging to roll, but I'm going to get a flat side on the top, then flip it over and take the sweep out of it and see what's left over. You know, other than that, it's a pretty decent log. There's one little kind of weird spot right there, which is why it's no good for anything other than, you know, bunks on the ground. So that's when I'm going to see what I can get out of it. I'll show you one of our new additions here. I'm flattening it out over here, but we picked up a new lumber scale. The Norwood doesn't come with a 5/4 scale, so I kind of looked around, and this was one of the ones that everybody grabs. It's color coded. It's got you know, 4/4, 5/4, 6/4, 7/4, and 8/4. They're all color coded. The black lines allow for the kerf. It's a company out of Canada. You can look them up. I don't know the link off the top of my head right now, but it's magnetic, and it's a little bit too crooked right now to stick on the mill, so I'm actually just letting it kind of flatten out. But yeah, I'm gonna let you guys watch while I just kind of break this funky looking thing down, and you guys can watch me struggle with flipping it over and getting that sweep side up. It's got a little bit of dirt in it, so I might be dusting some of it off, but as you can see, we know we're still working on this lumber bunk on the ground right here, sitting next to the mill, that we can grab with the, you know, with the skid steer really quickly and move it around. It was really an old trash log. It's got some rot in that bunk. We built a few of them, but yeah, we need more bunks to lay on the ground. So when we take beams off, like kind of like that ash 6x6 right there that we have placed, just kind of to set them. So I'm gonna kind of let the video roll. I'm still running and testing on my sharpening system here. My sharpening system seems to be working well, so I'm running all resharp blades right now. I'm running the same 3 blades. I want to see how many times I can sharpen them before they break. So yeah, I'm going to get at this. I'm going to take the top, roll it over, take the sweep out of it, and then see how many decent bunks we can get out of whatever's left over. And one more thing. So I know I was talking about a couple of those big orders. So we have like a 15 log order that they dropped off 15 logs to cut down all into 5/4 rough sawn, which is why I got the scale, so I would have a 5/4 scale. And big oak order 16-foot long trailer bunks. I'm sorry, trailer boards to redo a trailer. And I was going to cut the oak today, but just looking around, there was stuff in the way. I had to get some logs out of the way of the 16-footers, big red oak. And then I thought, you know, I just need places to put stuff down, so I might as well just mill these while I'm at it. Plus, it'll make, you know, good kind of short videos. So, and also, the wife and Billy are heading into town for a little while, so, you know, running a 16-foot oak this big around by myself out here, you know, would be challenging. Be a little bit easier when I have help. So I figured I'll just mill off some of these small logs while I'm at it. So we'll get at this one, and you guys can watch me struggle rolling it. It's not heavy, you know, but with the sweep in it, it's just gonna kind of be a little bit of a pain in the ass to get that 180-degree roll there. So, like I said, running resharp blades. You'll see how they cut. They've been cutting great. They cut flat. They cut fast. Everything with the sharpening is going good. If you don't watch my sharpening videos, watch them so you have an idea what's going on. You know, pretty simple setup, and it's not mechanized. And I'm just, like I said, I'm just rotating those 3 blades through. I want to see how many sharpenings I get on before they bust. So, yeah, let's rip through this thing and see how it goes. Hopefully I got clearance over here. Looks like I'm all okay. And let you watch it cut. I am still going to do an updated video on the mill too. I'm going to have to put that all down on paper first, so I kind of have an idea of a format. So I tend to get a little bit fragmented, and I want to make sure that I have that down. Try to roll it now, and I'm going to let the mill run. Sorry for the background noise, but I'll just let it warm up a little bit. probably going to have to move this grab one way or another. You're kind of going to want to pivot around this rod stop. Looks like I have left to go that way. Let me see if I can take the top off it. Take the top off it first before I try to move it. Gonna have to take this off in a couple of steps here. Try and get it down to the back side. A little bit of dirt on the side. Hopefully I'm not going to get into that right now. Give you a little bit different view so I'm not hidden behind it. I'm still going to be hidden behind it. I don't know if you can see, but when I come back, I'm trying to see if the blade will come right back on here where it exited. I'll give you a view of how it's cutting. The one thing I'm finding is it's not, and that's an indication to me that something, either that blade's starting to get a little bit dull and it might be rising up a little bit at the end of the cut here, or my tracking's not perfect. I might have to check that out. Give me a look at the cut. Now it's cutting relatively smooth. There's not many lines in this at all. But one thing that it's doing is, a few times it seems like it's coming up out of the cut, because when I try to pull back, I'm checking to see if the blade will just seamlessly come back onto the surface, and it's not every time. So that's telling me that either the blade's riding a little bit too far forward on the band wheels, or it's starting to get a little bit dull. I'm not sure. I'll check it out later. My question right now is whether I want to go ahead and dump this thing over 180 degrees back on that other side, or I want to flip it up and try to mill this sweep out of this side, which is probably the smarter thing. So this is that Norwood's log roll assist. Is that thing right there that I have on the log right now. And what it's supposed to do is, as I'm turning, it's supposed to grab the log and help me, so it doesn't allow it to turn backwards. Let's see how it works. I think what's going to happen is it's going to fall down when it gets to that flat side. Yeah. I think what I'm going to do is, I can shove this over real quick. Yeah, okay, yeah, it's not that bad. Get it squared up there. Holding pretty square right now, actually. It's perfectly square right now. Let's see if it stays that way when I dog it. I think that'll be all right. Let's try to take the sweep out of the top of it. I think you like to see the stuff shooting out of the back of it. I guess I could put you over here and run the mill. When I go past it, you'll be able to see me. So let's fire it up and take that sweep out of that side. Then we'll be kind of more concentric or symmetrical. Symmetrical is the right word. This almost looks like just a small dip in my bed here. Right here on this seam. Right here in this seam, it looks like just a small dip in the bed. And it's kind of lined up with what's going on up here. pretty trash log. Let me measure it and let's see what we could get out of it right now. So obviously I got some stickers down here. Doesn't need to be. So I'm 13 1/8 this way. Let's see if it's consistent. Showing like 13 1/4, 13 1/4 across the top. Let's see if we are this way. I'm at 11 3/8 there. 11 3/8 there, so it's coming out fairly symmetrical. It could be that dip in the rail that's causing that low spot. Doesn't explain the high spot though. This blade should exit exactly and then come and pull back on. So it could be a tracking issue. If that blade's running too far forward on the wheels right now, that's what'll cause that. So I can get so if I came down to 10 1/8 here this way, that's a perfect 1-inch board off the top. 10 1/8 allows me to get 5x5s. So I'm gonna take, which side would be better? All right, there's more sweep on the other side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it 180 degrees. I'm going to cut it to 10 1/8. And that allows me for the kerf to cut it right in half at 5 inches. And this way, I'm going to be able to get maybe a 2x and a 1x out of it this way. I'm going to flip it up this way first and get my 10 1/8 this way first, and then I'll flip it on the bottom and cut it to 10 1/8, and then cut it into 4/4 at 5 inches. So let's do that first. Let's take that, flip it up. Get some 5x5s. Those would be good ground bunks. So I got some pretty good wane in the top here, so I'm going to take all of it out of here, get rid of this and this. The reason for that is, if I make nice clean 5x5, someday I could use them, you know, as braces or purlins or something like that. So I do want to make them 5x5. That rot section, we cut right through the pith here, so that rot section's gone in my next two cuts. So if I cut a 2x, I'm going to cut this down to 11 1/4. That's going to give me almost a dimensional 2x. So I'm going to go 11 1/4 on my first cut, and then drop it to 10 1/8 off the deck for my second cut. That'll allow me to get 5x5s out of it. cut it to 10 1/8. Then I blast it into 4/4. So if you want to cut 5/5, you got to make sure that your numbers over here are less than 5 inches. I'm going to go at 3. Make sure I don't hit them when I cut it down. I'm going to yank it back, cut it at 10 1/8, then cut it right in half at 5, and then flip it, cut it in half at 5. Now, see if the blade rose up again. For my own data, it didn't. It's perfectly flat. Now we're going to cut it right now to 5 inches. What I'm doing is I'm using my outside scale at 5 inches to come 5 inches up the top, off the bunks, to the bottom of the curve. So my 1/8 inch that I'm at 10 1/8 is going to be included in the blade, and I should have 5 inches above. Cut it right half the same way, cut 5 inches up, and my 1/8 inches, yeah, I'm at 10 1/8, that 1/8 inches for the blade, or the band. My log stops is still at that 3-inch height, so I can't hit them. Down to 5 inches. There. I hope that didn't hit one of those rock stops. Nope. Made a weird noise going through here. You can see the tension in the wood. That could be some of the bowing that I've been seeing. That could be one of the reasons why that's been raising up. See how much that bowed there? There's a lot of tension in this because we're so crooked. That log, as I was taking slabs off the top, could have been doing this. That blade could be fine. Let's see what we got for dimensions here. 5 inches, exactly 5. 5 and maybe a 1/16. I got 5 here. These bowed out. I got 5 here. I got 5 and kind of an 1/8 here. Got 5 1/8 there. 5 3/16. No, I'm sorry, 5 3/32. 5 1/32 maybe. So yeah, they're pretty good 5x5s. Not exactly perfect because they bowed so bad. You can see how much this one bowed. I mean, I can almost put my pinky in there from all that tension. That's probably why I wasn't coming right back on. But now we got 4 5x5s to use out on the ground out here. So when we take big beams off, you know, we have a place to put them down. So I hope that was kind of fun coming along through the process there. I'm still learning my way of thinking through these things, and working on my sharpening, working on everything. These came out. I'll show you the finish on them. I'd be interested to see what that noise was if I hit a nail or something. There's nothing there. Oh, there could be something there. Let me take these 5x5s off. I might have hit a nail on that pass. It did make a funny little noise when it went through. Not a nail. It doesn't look like there's any nails in there. It was just these hard knots. When it went through this hard knot here, might have made that noise. So show you the finish on them. Then we'll end this video. I'll probably shoot another one in a little while. 40 minutes. 40 minutes to cut 4 5x5s. Sure goes slower when you're videoing. So I'll get my hand in here for scale. You can see some lines. Look at where the wood was harder and how smooth it cut here. You can see the speed that I'm able to go. I could go faster, but I'm worried about that blade rising up. You know, let's do this since we already went crazy long. Let's check out. Let's look at what our tracking looks like and see if I'm right, or if it's just the tension in the log. I'm kind of thinking it might be the tension in the log. Let's take one of these off, see where our tracking is. So if it was the tracking, the gullets will be out past the band wheel. And they're not here. Let's check the other side really quick. They're not perfect. They're out a little dinky, teeny bit past the band wheel, but not enough to make a difference. Not enough to make the blade rise. And I'll show you in a second, sorry. This side's almost perfect. So I'll show you what I'm looking at. So if you look down at the band wheel, you see the gullets are just barely past the front. Now that's not too bad because they're flush in the back, and that's pretty much what everybody in the world says they should be flush in the back, but I'm going to say they should be even. So they're just barely past. So that was not causing the rise. If you look at this side, so they're pretty much flush in the back. I know there's a little bit of parallax because of the angle that I'm at here, but they're pretty, I mean, they're pretty damn close. So that's a bad view because of the angle that I'm at. It's not showing that much. Or if I could get it down more like this. Oh, get away from that grease fitting. So if I get it straight down, you can see they're pretty much flush. So that little bit wouldn't cause that rise. So I'm thinking it was the tension in the wood. But it's something to keep an eye on. You know, what I'm doing is I'm always looking for what's going on with my sharpening and how my setup is going and everything. So, and I do have a little bit of time on this blade, but it's still really sharp. And plenty of play in the guides. There's or some play in the guides. There's no problems there. So doesn't look like that was the problem. There's no buildup on the belts or on the band wheel. So that was definitely not the problem. I think it was the tension in the wood. All right, so I will shoot another one eventually. Hope you guys enjoyed hanging out for a minute. And make sure, you know, if you have any comments, leave them. And I always reply to everything. Have a great morning.